Hey, this is Paul Evans, your free online business coach, and I'm actually in Atlanta today doing some consulting with a company here in my hotel room before I roll out. I wanted to make sure that I got the lesson on the scene today. As we continue to look at the Monetization Matrix, when we talk about message, marketing, model, and monetization, the second step, the second block, we talked about really diving into our cause in the last episode. This time we're going to look at content. And a phrase that comes to me over and over again is that great content never has a bad day. Great content never has a bad day. You've never picked a book up and thought, man, this book's in a bad mood. You've never read an article and said, man, this article's having a rough day. Because if it's really great content, you'll save it, you'll catalog it, you'll come back to it over and over and over again. And so when you're entering a business space, unless you're doing something along drop shipping, and we've got some articles, actually a video coming on, a question related to that here pretty soon. But for the most part, it's going to be about the content that you create, or the content that you borrow from somebody that you're representing. And so you want at the highest level. You want people looking to you for your ideas, your concepts, your direction, your angle, the way that you're approaching it that nobody else is. Just like if you're doing an affiliate product and you decide that you're going to use every single email put out by that marketer and everybody else is using that email, your content isn't original. And if people are on multiple lists, then they also see that the content is not original. Whereas if you take it and you've looked at the product and you're coming in from a different angle or a different perspective, it's going to add more value. And that's exactly what content's going to do for you. Now, the key is the shift that we're talking about here. So you see there in the bottom left that it's dull, and top right, it's dynamic. So we want to make sure that our content is moving from dull to dynamic. Now, how do we do that? Well, one of the things is we're not simply doing everything completely ad lib. We're thinking through things. Maybe we're doing some drawings. Maybe we are thinking about the points in a different way. For example, we could tell people if you want to lose weight, hey, you just need to eat right. You need to exercise more. And that's correct, right? But how do we take that concept that's been said 5 million times and make it unique? Well, we'll say something along the lines of, and this can be in an article or a video or whatever format you want. We could say, there's really 2 critical steps when it comes to really getting the type of body that you want, having the type of mental acuity that you desire. It comes down to 2 facets. Number 1 is fuel, what we're actually putting into our body, what we're eating. And what I'm going to do right now is give you 5 things to think about when you're about to put a morsel in your mouth so that you can know if this is going to be great fuel for you or whether it's going to be something that zaps your energy, forces you to gain weight, things along those lines. And then you share those 5 things. And then you say, well, not only is there fuel, remember earlier we said you just need to eat less, but we're talking about fuel instead of simply saying eat less. And then I'm not going to say exercise more. I'm going to say there's fuel, but then there's also fitness. And fitness can be measured in a lot of different ways, but what I want to give you is the top 7 ways that fitness is actually measured within ourselves, physiologically, intellectually, believe it or not, and also psychologically. So we're going to look at 7 critical areas that are really going to determine whether we're as fit as we believe. So we took a common statement, eat less, exercise more, and turned it into content that was better. We're going to focus on fuel and we're going to focus on fitness. And so just by coming in a little bit different angle, you're going to gain more of the audience you're communicating to and with, and you're going to gain more followers along the way because you're taking very common concepts, but you're making them unique to you. So that's a big piece of content. Now, a word that I forgot to put down is last session, when we talked about cause, I said that it was something that was going to thrill you. Well, your content is a pill, P-I-L-L. It's like medicine. Your content is the way that you deliver your answers, and it's the way that you make a difference in the lives of the people that are staying within your space as you serve them. So that's the second block when it comes to building out this monetization matrix. The first block was cause, second block is content. And the next episode, we'll hit that final block there at the top, and it's connection. But we'll dive into that next time. Now, we did get some more questions in. Actually, we've got several episodes of questions. So if you've turned one in, and I'm not responding to you, don't worry about it. It's coming along the way. This first question is from Try. It says, great, thank you for doing this. On a different note, I hope that when you get to it, at whatever point you can, would you cover tracking numbers, exactly what needs to be tracked, specifically how one would do it without overwhelm? Well, without overwhelm is to actually use Google Analytics. Because if you get that and you get your little number, their code that they're going to give you, and you put it in your WordPress or whatever way that you're publishing your content, it's going to track all of that. And there's 3 key areas that I like to track. Number 1, the source of the content. Is this organic? Is it through a search engine? Is it through Facebook or other social media? And that way I'm tracking the source so I can see where it's coming from. Secondly, I like to track conversions so that if I'm testing this particular sales page, how well is it converting? If I change the headline, does the conversion shift? If I'm changing the price, does the conversion shift? And analytics is going to keep up with all of that for you. Now, what I would do is when I was first installing that, they've got some great tutorials on there. I would watch those. Don't overcomplicate it. Look at your source, look at your conversion, and then also look at your spikes. And this is our periods of higher activity on your site. For example, when I used to have a ministry site that I was running pretty much full time, everybody said you need to mail on Tuesday and you need to mail on Thursday. Well, our spikes happened on Wednesday and on Saturday. Why? Because Wednesday night they had devotionals, they had classes, and Sunday they had classes. So it was spiking on days that normally there would have been very little action in other niches. But because we tracked that, we knew the days to do our promotion. Now, one more element that you can track, and that's your audience, to determine where they're coming from. I think that can be important. The age can be important. So I was looking at the stats just for this YouTube channel, and 75% of the people viewing these videos are over the age of 35. And I'm older, right? I'm 51. So I'm starting to attract those in my same age category. So that allows you to know as well who you're connecting to. It can determine a little bit of your vocabulary, and it certainly helps you relate to them more when you keep track with that. Okay, so the second question is from Frank. He said, what's the quickest way to earn the first dollar online? I'm not trying to get ahead of the course, but Christmas sent me back. I want to also take the time to thank you for doing this coaching and wish you and yours a very happy, healthy, prosperous New Year blessing. Well, thank you, Frank. Fastest way, Frank, fastest dollars on the internet to me is you got to have 2 things. You got to have an audience and you got to have an avenue. And I've mentioned that in a previous video. But in this case, your avenue probably needs to be somebody else's product, not your own product, because you don't want to have to spend time creating it. Instead, and I'll go ahead and jump down here, you're either going to want to be a reporter or you're going to want to be a coach. If you're a reporter, you're an affiliate for somebody else's product. So let's say that you're in several groups or you have your own Facebook group, which would be even better, that you've attracted people who are in a certain arena. Let's say that they love pets and they're trying to teach their pet to be obedient, or they're trying to teach their pet new tricks. So if they were trying to do that, then maybe you become an affiliate of a dog training course or another training course that you go out to that group and you make that recommendation and they buy from you. That's going to be one of the fastest ways. Another fast way is you go to a place like Fiverr and you've got a skill set that you feel confident in. Let's say that you can do graphic design. Then you go there and you put out an ad and let people use your services. To me, that's not quite as quick when it comes to actual amounts that you could earn, whereas I think the affiliate product could be really good. Or if you just want to offer advice and you're a coach, then just offer that advice. It's really free to do. If you're in a group and you notice several people have issues and it's recurring over and over again, and you're like, wow, I know how to solve that. You could private message them and say, hey, look, I'm not going to give any big sales pitch here, but this is my area of expertise. I've been in it X number of years. I'd be glad to coach you through it. It's only $100. It's only $500. It's only $1,000. Send them a PayPal link. They get to pay you, and that's it. You don't have a sales page, and you don't have anything other than your smarts that you're selling there online. I think that can be extremely valuable. Now we're going to carry this a little bit further with the next question that's from Ray. And he says that he's a heavy equipment mechanic for the last 40 years, and he's wanting to move into the expert online economy for about 5 to 6 years now. But many of the courses that I've purchased and seminars attended, that they can seem challenging and a little bit overwhelming. But my question is this: what is a simple framework or outline, if you will, to start my online business? So instead of backtracking all the way to the start of the monetization matrix, which I think is fine to go through from beginning to end, just think about the last couple of lanes that we're going to be looking at here in the future. And that is decision 1. Are you going to be a reporter, a teacher, or a coach. If you're a reporter, you're simply pointing people to somebody else's product. It's no different than somebody says, hey, how'd you like that movie? I loved it. You need to go see it. Hey, I noticed that you've lost weight. What do I need to do? Here's the name of the product. Go do it. Or let's say that you're putting together some material for others who are in the mechanic business like you've been in with heavy equipment for years, and they're wanting to know how to rise to the top. And you've got a 10-page special report on that. Then that would be a teacher. You'd have a product that you've actually created. And then, as I just mentioned before with Frank, maybe you're just going to be a coach. You're just going to offer your smarts. You've got all of this experience. And there are probably a lot of guys and girls out there who would love to speak to you to figure out how to become better at what they do, or to make money at what they do, or how to switch companies effectively and transition and actually get either promoted or get a raise, things along those lines. So really the fastest way and the simplest framework is to make decision one. Are you going to be a reporter, a teacher, or a coach? And then decision two, are you going to be out there pointing the way? Are you going to have a product? Or are you going to go premium and have allow people to have access to your smarts? So anyway, pretty quick overview of all that today. Hope that's helpful. Never forget that great content never has a bad day. As always, success is not an accident. Be blessed.